Hello everyone. Today we're gonna have our last interview from the first season of this project, Muiraktan Bamboo, that is realized in Europe, in Austria, and where I was talking with circus artists from South America and Europe, and mainly in Brazil and Austria. Was a big pleasure to talk with all of these people, and this was so rich that I would love to continue these interviews. So if you like it, if you are interested to have more interviews, if you would like to recommend some artists that I could talk, I would love to hear from you. Yes, and now we have this meeting to talk with Maja Karolina Franke, that is a dance and circus artist, performer, choreographer outside based in Vienna. She has a background in classical and contemporary dance, dance pedagogy, and movement studies. Since 2017, she has been working in the field of contemporary circus. Her interest in dance and circus is the encounter and communication between two or more bodies with the help of a wide variety of techniques, perspectives, and approaches like contemporary partnering, couple dance, and partner acrobatics. She co-founded the duo Ego Portrait, a circus dance perspective with Half Ollinger, using tools from partner acrobatics, dance, and object manipulation to deal with topics like responsibility, trust, and the role of the audience in a performance contest. In 2021, she received the PM/Co-US Startstipendium for her research on gender roles and gender cliches in partnering and partner acrobatics. So, yes, officially starting this interview. And first, of course, I would like to thank you again to accept my invitation to share about your research in contemporary circus with all of us. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, a pleasure to be here with you and to know a bit more of your work. And for that, I would like to start with our standard question that is about what is contemporary circus for you.
So for me, contemporary circus has a lot to do with questioning, like not applying like formulas they're already established in the performing arts, like technique or dramaturgy or audience, etc., like all of these stuff, and like researching about them. So it's a lot of like, yeah, it has a lot to do with research for me. And a lot of yeah, just like questioning the status quo, actually. And yeah, it can be also like found, you know, with topics that arise like in social or political contexts. That's also a point. that I'm occupied with.
And thinking about this this place that you understand and that you are working with contemporary circles, how you see this environment in Europe, how you see these contemporary circles in Europe.
For me, like in Europe, it's a bit hard because I feel like Europe is so big and it has so many influences, and there are so many countries with different approaches and like so many artists, of course. So yeah, that's like that's a super hard question for me to
Yeah.
to answer like in one thing, probably. Also,
So,
I don't have an overview that much of like, you know, every like single thing in Europe. So I wouldn't know what to answer there.
yes, it's nice and to see this and to recognize this. During the research, during these 12 interviews here with you, because for me this was one of the main questions and still one of the main questions of the research. But talking with many people, and then I could see that, of course, Europe is so big, so many countries, and so many realities, and what, for example, talking with Roberto Magro from Italy, but he works with different schools, these main schools in France and also in Belgium. He said that mainly the difference between these cities is the reality of funding,
Yes.
and then this gives the different realities for the productions. But entering a little bit more specific in this question, just to have your view about, for example, what kind of groups or what kind of productions are inspiration for you? Is it the French contemporary circles of Belgium, or I don't know, something in Morocco's, like, to where are you looking these contemporary circles? What comes for you as a wow, this is European contemporary circle, I like this company or this?
Yeah, for me, like it's mostly like looking to the Netherlands, to Belgium, France, of course. Like, you know, but also these are the countries, as you said, they already have a established like funding system. They have universities with like circus education. They have they have infrastructure, you know, where they can create, where they can perform. So I feel like in these countries it's already a quite like running system, right? Whereas in Austria it's like still young and like we just like get it going. That's my feeling. So yeah, of course, when there is infrastructure, like in every way, is it money, is it like space and time, the people and like things can, you know, create. And
yeah. And here in Austria, how you see this environment? You already told us about that this is a new environment, no? As a young system of production, if I can call it system. But how you see these contemporary circles in Austria? Sorry.
I mean, like I think it changed a lot the past years. Like it's growing fast. I mean, this has for sure to do with like the funding. Like since I don't know when exactly, but like since some years we have like funding for contemporary circus. So this of course changes a lot. That's a great step. but I feel there is still a lot of work to do, like in the sense of, you know, other infrastructures, you know, like spaces where we can work, like theaters or other spaces where we can perform. And yeah, I feel like it was very common that, you know, like people from Austria, they went somewhere to study circus and they didn't come back because the infrastructure in other countries is so much better. And like maybe this is slowly changing as well, like, you know, like I think Austria needs to show that we have, like, it's possible to live here and work here and like do your job as a contemporary circus artist. But yeah, I feel it's still a way to go.
Yeah, it's interesting to see these different perspectives and how, because we think, for example, about France or Belgium, that always a reference because this full funding for contemporary circus productions is one thing, but when we look to South America, I could say no. It's a nice environment here in Austria. No,
Of course, it always depends on the context.
Yeah, yeah. But I see that he in Austria can recognize different artists and different productions. I see that you were in the different festivals and also part of associations that are caring for that. So I imagine that you have a view from these the productions that are in the way to that are coming up in this Austrian environment. How you can see what you can see from these productions, like something specific from this Austrian circus.
You mean like artistically or
Yeah,
like or organizational or
artistically.
Mm. Mm, like I feel it's that's a very hard question. I feel like some are like already, like, you know, doing the research and doing like really like following like their artistic vision through, you know, like for a long time, which I feel is very important, especially in contemporary circus, that you like, if you compare it to like a theater or a dance production, it's always the case that you have, like, you know, you have 8 weeks of rehearsals, you meet with people you maybe don't know before, and then like you make a piece. And like the difference to contemporary circus here is that, like, I feel if you want to make a work with like depth and really like have your research in it, you need the time to do that. So like most of the pieces I know I can enjoy, they have like, you know, years of research already in their pockets. So there are some people in Austria who are like doing that, but also a lot of people there just starting this journey. So which is, it's totally cool, but you know, I feel it like they need more time. So this will come with more time, you know, like the depth and the really like digging into topics. So yeah, since it's very young, I mean, it's very clear that we are in this point. So
Nice. And in front of this environment of this new environment in Austria. How is your personal work? I know you are a dancer. You comes from the contemporary dance field,
Yeah.
and working in contemporary circles. How is this meeting for you, and what are you looking for or developing in this field?
Yeah, for me, like one of the points, like I studied dance. I was working as a dancer. I mean, I'm still working as a dancer, but now like mostly shifted to circus. Was like this point what I just said, that really like digging into topics for a very long time. This is what I was missing a lot as a dancer, and this is what like really caught my attention, and it fulfilled my urge to work like constantly and really like devote myself to one thing, and then like be really an expert, or an like, okay, what means an expert, but like you know, that you have a really unique thing going on there. So this is what actually like really is very, very important to me. And also like there is like a huge amount of training, of course. Like as a dancer, I'm used to that, but I felt with circus I could like even go like more into like technical training, and more, you know, again like digging more into that as well. And yeah, so my personal thing was I didn't really plan to go into circus. It was more of a natural development, I would say. So I was always into like partnering, and I was always interested in like, you know, like a connection between bodies. And I did a lot of partnering. I did couple dancing, and then I met partner acrobatics, which felt like a natural development for myself to to see again, like, you know, two bodies meeting, two or more, but just with a different technique. And also because like in dance it's mostly like horizontal, and partner acrobatics also, you know, goes into the vertical. So it felt like a and a nice add-on. And that's really caught my eye and my interest. That's why I somehow went into that, and then I fell into the circus hole.
Just to maybe to put clear or in few words, what do you bring from the contemporary circles, or what do you bring from the contemporary dance to circles, and what do you take from the circles to the contemporary dance?
So like physically, the main difference for me is like it's a different use of body. Like dancers are trained in a totally different way than like circus artists. And I feel this is like it's a very nice way, like, you know, like influence to each other. Like I feel like from dance I learned a lot about also like performance techniques, like, you know, being on stage, uh spatial awareness a lot, like all these things I'm not saying that circus artists don't have it, but I feel like there is more emphasis in dance than in circus on that. Because I feel like circus is a lot about, you have to train your technique, and then you have the tricks and and I feel dance has more of a broader view on like performing. There is also a lot of like group work in dance. Like as a dancer, you're always like you do dance classes in a group, you train together, you know how to deal with other people on stage. And in circus, I mean, there are so many solo artists or duos or like fewer people. So there is also a difference there. And then from circus, I for sure learned how to train alone, because so it's like the other way around. As a dancer, you go to a class, but you're not so much like training alone. And in circus, I mean, this is like your daily routine, right? That you work on your skills and on your things. So yeah, like I enjoy both very much. And yeah, I feel it's like both art forms like are unique, and they can like learn a lot from each other. Yeah, also in circus, I feel it's even more like individual. Like it's very hard if you have a circus piece that you can like exchange the performer, because it's like super unique what they are doing, like mostly. And in dance, it's more easy, because it's like a common technique, it's like a common thing you do. And then like I feel it's easier to like jump in, or like these things. I mean, both are nice, but like in circus I learned to like have my individual path and my individual qualities that I can really work on them, and just be good at what I'm good at, and like this makes me unique, or like every other circus artist as well.
Nice. I come from theater field, no? This is my first place, and somehow is the same, no? In theater we are in group, and I was working with companies in Brazil, circus companies in Brazil also, that we had group, but now I can see, and I was like thinking about myself preparing this project completely alone, training and recording and editing all of these videos and it's true, it's completely nice that we can learn and bring technology from these two different places. No, I see, and I saw in reality that you were selected in 2021 from this stipendium from the Bundesministerium to have research about a project with dance and circus. Could you tell us about this project? How was this research?
So the main topic of this research was, or is, I wanted to question like gender roles in partner acrobatics. Because like I had this feeling, as I told you before, I like to work on topics that are like like in a social political context as well, and also like this questioning thing is a very is a center point of what I want to do. And so I was like, I mean, I was working as a flyer, which is the person, you know, like is like carried around and is like on top of like the base. It's called like it's called the base. And mostly also in my own routine, it was like always, you know, I am the woman, like I am small, I'm the flyer, and the like the strong man, you know, tall, is the base. And I was wondering somehow that like me, like as a feminist, can, you know, can reproduce this stereotype like every time I go on stage, right? So yeah, that was the main question, to how can I find, you know, how can I find a way to, you know, not reproducing these pictures, and how can I show them to the audience that they maybe mean a different thing, that it's like the, you know, the man on the bottom who is responsible, and the woman on top who is like has to trust the man to catch her, right? So yeah.
And how long was this project, this process, this first moment of this project?
Yeah, so we did, I was working with my partner at that time, and we had like I was preparing, and then we had like a 2-week, I think, residency within On the Edge Festival, which is a festival for experimental circus in Vienna. And also we had a showing. Yes. And then, yeah, I mean, I'm still interested in the topic. I will keep on researching for sure. So I think it's also a kind of research that it can ongo for several years, because things that's the thing, what I told you or also before, that, you know, like this digging into things, and then also exploring like different aspects, because like the first thought that I had was like, when I was thinking about that project, so okay, let's switch roles, right? So it was about, okay, maybe I can carry him, like, you know, and then this didn't feel so right, because it's like, it feels like the easiest solution, but it's not, because like we have different physicalities, we have different strengths, so why not use that? So yeah, I feel there are so many aspects to this topic that can be still explored. So yeah, it's very interesting for me.
Yeah, sure. I see how important is this topic, and we can recognize this topic as one of the main topics now in the not just in the circus but in the contemporary art. And yeah, like somehow it's urgent, you know, to talk about gender rules, and also about all of the complexity of the feminism thought inside the art, and of course in circles, no. Just sharing a bit of this research, talking with Brazilian artists and with South America artists, what they had as a general idea of European productions was that here the artists were thinking more about technical development and not a political topics.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because for them, this idea, and of course, the Europe so big, as we said, because for them in Europe, or thinking about France and Belgium mainly, they have all of this support for training. So you can go and then you have permanent training for that and this and that. And this is so comfortable. And then you can just have your mind in this technical development.
Mm.
And in South America, we have so many problems with politic things and social things. And this takes a lot of energy of us. And this is so fresh and so constant in our daily life that this makes our productions more political than Europe productions. So this is just a general idea,
Yeah.
talking with some people, and it's very nice to find, for example, you talking about feminism, talking about gender roles, thinking about the political things here in Austria, and of course in this European environment. Very nice to see that this is growing, and here, and thinking about future or next steps, how you see this development, because you are also choreographer, and how you think in the future of it, on the stage and these productions.
You mean like in Austria in general, or?
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel there are people that like work with political ideas. There are for sure. There are some that like work more with like the technical aspect, but I feel like, yeah, I mean, for me, it's not a question. I feel it's so important to use art for, like something else to speak about. So yeah, I feel it's developing for sure. Like, yeah. For me personally, interesting is like not hiding behind the technique and like showing the tricks, but I do enjoy to see just to see like virtuous bodies on stage. I do enjoy that, but it needs to have a purpose for me. Like, so I'm always looking for, like the connection point between like how can I use the skills I have, the technique I have to like tell about something, right? So it's not like the trick for a trick, but it's like to tell something, to tell about, if I do a hand-to-hand, like a handstand on another person, what does it tell? There is a lot about trust in it. There is a lot about responsibility in it. So I'm interested in what is that actually saying to the audience, and what can I give to the audience, like through the technique. So yeah, I feel it's growing in Austria. As I said, everything is growing in Austria right now, so that's good.
Yeah, and it's very nice to see somehow this environment, starting, and to see these people like you, with all of these ideas, to develop this during the next years, and this Austria development there, to see all of this to be developed, to still growing up in this environment. It's very nice to see, and I'm very curious to see all of it in the next 10 and 20 years, I hope.
Yes, we will see.
Great. One last question that is a kind of standard question, as I was asking to the Brazilian or the South America artists what idea or what kind of image they had, or what is the idea about the contemporary circus in Europe. How you see the contemporary circus in South America? Do you have some idea about?
Oh, wow. Like, to be honest, like contemporary circus, I really don't know. I know that there are a lot of like street artists, like traveling street festivals from South America. I met a lot actually. But for contemporary circus, I really don't know.
Nice, and no problem, because is also was curious to know that there is a general idea about European productions, but when I ask about Austrian contemporary circles, is the same, like Austrian, I don't know, and and so for that I invite everyone that is following this interview now to check some of our videos that we did already, not talking about Brazilian contemporary circles, the circles in Uruguay, in Chile, and some points there. The general idea of this overview of South America contemporary circles is one of the goals from this project, and also to present the Austrian contemporary circus and European contemporary circus also through these interviews. So yes,
sure. It's always like, like we can always learn from each other, and like if you make connections, I think it's always a beautiful thing for everyone involved. Like,
yeah,
can get inspirations everywhere.
Yeah, and I'm very happy to offer these videos for everyone. For me, it was great. It's incredible to see and to understand a little bit more of this environment. And now I'm already thinking about next steps to know about like contemporary circus in Japan. How is this there? No, I'm very curious to find these artists and to have a talking with them also. So, yes, just formally and officially in this interview, I would like to offer you another moment that you could open another topic, to give you space to talk a bit more about something that you would like, or just to give your final words for this interview.
Yeah, I feel we covered quite some ground, and yeah, no, I think it's okay.
Great.
Nothing very urgent comes to my mind.
Great. I feel that I feel also that we passed for all of these questions. It was very nice to have your point of view about all of it, your contribution also for this research. It's very nice to see, as I said, that the feminism is something present in the contemporary circles in Austria and in Europe, and also the political topics are going on here, and to know about this meeting between circles and contemporary dance, and the necessity or the needs about to develop a specific train, to have a permanent train, to have a good political environment, this funding structure to have this environment growing up Mm.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, nice. And for you that have been following this interview until now, I invite you to keep connected, to make a comment. How was this interview for you? What kind of interview you would like to have in this channel? If you would like to have another guest in this channel, you can suggest me. I would love to receive your comment. And yeah, we keep in touch. All the best. See you soon, I hope. Bye.